welcome to this week's Football Talk podcast. I, myself, and me, and he, himself, his, him. Also known as Josh and Dave. Also known as the sexy one and the intelligent one. I'll let you decide. How are you, Dave?
I am. If I said I was 100% better than last week, I think I wouldn't be exaggerating. I am here, full body, full mind, fully able to construct a sentence, hopefully. Well, as well as normal.
You're already more cohesive than last week and more enthusiastic. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, I'm back.
So Hangover has now gone a week later, is it?
Yeah, it has. I topped it up a little bit yesterday. I was playing golf in Indonesia.
Oh,
so,
lad.
Yeah.
I find it so odd that you go to a separate country to play golf.
Yeah, so much cheaper. It's cheaper. It's cheaper for me to get a ferry to Indonesia and pay for a round of golf and pay for beers and pay for dinner and all of that, and then get a ferry home than it is to play one round of golf in Singapore, generally. So,
wow.
Yes,
I can't imagine Singapore's... I've got a very limited knowledge of Singapore, but I don't exactly think it's got rolling green hills for lots of golf courses.
It doesn't. But it has a surprisingly large amount of golf courses for such a small place. I think it's got 9 golf courses, and it's smaller than London. So,
okay,
yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, good. I won, which is always good fun as well. Always makes it worth it.
Oh, well done, Dave. Well done, Dave. What were you playing? Match play, stroke play, Texas Hold'em. What are you doing?
Texas Hold'em.
Texas Scramble. Texas Scramble. Sorry.
Just straight off score, because we're all amateurs. So we're literally just doing he who wins the hole wins the hole. Well, actually, he who scores the lowest at the end wins. Standard play.
Stroke play.
Stroke play. That's what I was looking for.
Yes, lovely.
Yeah, stroke play.
Oh, Dave knows his golf. Good job. This isn't a golf talk.
It's a golf talk
podcast.
Yes. I swear, every episode starts with us saying, "Well, this isn't this talk. It's football talk." We should really just start with football.
Yeah, it's like we've been forced to talk about football when our true colours come out at the start, and then we have to just go, right, well, we don't know much about it, we'll talk about it anyway. But so we'll move on to the news, shall we, Dave?
Yes, let's go. You go first.
Yes, let's talk about the closure of Parliament. No, we're talking about football. Football. Right, let's talk about some transfers, actually. We had a couple of weeks of transfer talk being heavy, and then since then, obviously, the Premier League or English window's shut, but there's still some outgoings from Premier League which have caught my eye. Can you guess which one really caught my eye this week? An outgoing from a Premier League.
Well, I mean, an outgoing from the Premier League that may have caught your eye, but obviously caught my eye. Chris Smalling that's weird.
Yeah. Chris Smalling is now at Roma. 3 million loan fee, no option to buy, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And so he will be lining up in Serie A.
And if rumours are to be believed, we'll be partnering Dejan Lovren at Roma, which is very bizarre.
I mean, it's almost as if the hierarchy at Roma didn't watch any Premier League football for a few years.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But it's just fair play to him. He's done starting at Maidstone, Fulham, United, Roma. It's a career to be proud of, isn't it? And I wish we'd kept Chris Smalling and sold Phil Jones, or got rid of Phil Jones, or Marcus Rojo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've always preferred Chris Smalling.
Yeah, Rojo, I can definitely understand.
Yeah.
The thing I don't understand is, I'm pretty sure I remember a photograph of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with his arm round Chris Smalling's shoulder, and that can only have been in the last 6 to 9 months. And so it's like, what happened?
Yeah,
signed a new contract.
You don't know what's happening, do you? Because Ole also said you'll be surprised at how many games Alexis Sanchez is going to play this year, and it turns out he's going to play none because he's not at Man United. And that's not a surprise to anybody.
There,
no. So it was a very surprising to see. I mean, it's just a bit. Did Roma sold centre backs or something? Because it's very strange. I know they had.
They still have Federico Fazio, Spurs legend.
Oh, what, is that going to be their 3 centre backs to choose from? If they're playing a back 3 and it's Smalling, Lovren, and Fazio, that is incredible. If it happens,
that's almost as if there's a golfing class between the Premier League and Serie A.
Yes,
if that's the case.
But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on it as an outsider who's only Smalling sort of England?
I don't mind Smalling. He's very limited on the ball, is Chris Smalling. But he's actually quite a solid defender. And under Van Gaal, I think he was probably one of the better Premier League defenders. He was a structure around him, and he did well. So
got a new name as well.
I'm at.
Got a new name under Van Gaal, Mike Smalling. Yeah.
Mike, yeah. No, and I am loving the English players going abroad. We mentioned Lee Cattermole last week. Obviously, Kieran Trippier. There's obviously the band of youth who go to the Bundesliga. It's absolutely brilliant to see. I love it. So
do you think it's
continue.
do you think it's taken a new trajectory because Jadon Sancho's done it and shown he's a success and still making the England squad and stuff like that? Do you think that's encouraged others?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps, and yeah, and I think it's just kind of, it's weird. I suppose maybe they think they were being shown up by the youngsters, like, well, if they can do it, I can do it, and it gets them to play. I think they realise they can play European football. They're going to be in and around the England squad, and yeah, hopefully we see it many more, and that leads us straight into the England squad, I suppose.
Okay.
Which got announced. It's a bit odd. I mean, the squad isn't that much odd. I suppose the Tyrone Mings is a little odd. I don't particularly think he. I think he's
done all right since he's been here. I think, who are we playing? It's like Kazakhstan and someone. Kosovo and Bulgaria. Yeah. I don't mind the fact that Tyrone Mings is in. I think Tyrone Mings has been pretty solid for Aston Villa last year and this season. Obviously, this season's back in the Prem. There's something about Tyrone Mings I like, but I wouldn't say he's one of the best centre-backs in England. I think he's been called up to the squad and won't get played, sort of thing. The weirdest...
Yeah, he might be just that kind of closer look, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the weirdest one is the fact that Trippier has beaten Kyle Walker to a call at right-back, and Wan-Bissaka and Trent Alexander-Arnold are in there as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just trying to find the squad in front of me. But
yeah, you're right with that. And I'd say that maybe that I would say the Wan-Bissaka one I don't like, in the sense that it's a big club bias. Like, is he playing any better in these 3 games for United than he was for the whole season with Palace? Like, you could have called him up when he was a Palace player.
Yeah.
Like, was he now is he a United player? He's any better? Well, I think he did his fantastic performances last year for Palace, and the Kyle Walker thing, I think he knows what he gets with Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker is a starting right back for the best club side in Europe. I think he knows what he's getting. With Trippier, I think he had a tough time last season, and maybe he just needs to run the rule over him a bit more. But I think he's confident with what he gets from Kyle Walker.
Yeah, but I would still prefer to see Kyle Walker in that squad than Trippier. But then I also wouldn't pick 3 right backs. Unless,
no.
And with the fact he hasn't picked Kyle Walker suggests he's not going to play the 3 at the back formation, where Kyle Walker was doing the right centre back and Trippier was doing wing back.
So completely moved away from that. Yeah.
Yeah. So why pick 3 right backs? That's what I'm really confused about with it all. And it's I'm a little bit
further to the big team bias. Oxlade-Chamberlain gets in there. I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain, I don't doubt, was a very good footballer.
Yeah.
But he obviously had a big injury. And he's played this season. I think he's probably played like a couple of games, maybe. I think he's had a start and 2 sub appearances. Like, well, really, I suppose again that might be just taking a closer look. You read a lot into it. Like, as soon as someone's in the squad, you think maybe they're starting, but it seems a little bit OTT to include him in there.
Yeah, I just think he does offer something different. I think he does offer something different to what we've got. But again, there's probably better people out there that have played more regularly and played a little bit better football, or just not even better football.
Jesse Lingard's in, isn't he?
Fucking hell! Don't
defend that one.
There's the bad language. I'm not defending it. He shouldn't be starting for Man United, let alone in the England squad. I'm not defending it. I'm never defending it. He's how you can pick someone that's got like 1 contribution to a goal in the last 18 months. It's as a forward player, as an attacking midfielder, it's absolutely useless. He shouldn't. He does a lot for England. I understand that. He's probably a good character to have around the squad. But if you're picking on form, there's no way he should be in the squad. There's no way he should be in the squad. You should be looking at someone else, and it's just irritating that he's still.
But ultimately, it isn't just about form, is it? Because if you pick all players who are best in form, you might have a side to put in. You can't have like 10 centre backs.
True.
You also need players who fit the system you're trying to play, aren't you?
Yeah, I agree with that. And Southgate's got technically he had a very good squad, obviously, because we got to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Even if we had an easy route to it, the Nations League went okay, and I think he knows his set core of a squad. And unfortunately, I think Jesse Lingard's part of that squad. But in the team we've got there, in the whole squad that we're taking, I would not be starting Jesse Lingard. And the thing is, we'll get onto it later, but the Man United Southampton game showed how desperate Jesse Lingard was, because Jesse Lingard has obviously read about those stats and can see the, not reviews, but see the opinion pieces that are being written about him and stuff. Or if he doesn't, then he's surely making it look like he does read them and does know what's going on. But he was so desperate to score. He was shooting from stupid opportunities. He should have passed more, and I think it's playing on his mind now. And he shouldn't be in the England squad. I've gone off tangent. We'll get onto the Man United Southampton game later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Were there any other changes? Harry Winks, has he played enough this season for you to be in there? And
yeah, I think he's actually. I think he's had a little bit of a slow start to the season, to be fair, from his standards. But then again, so have Spurs. We'll see. Maybe he'll put in a stellar performance this afternoon against Arsenal when we only lose 3-1.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll move on. We'll move on to
just
a couple
quickly,
of awards.
hang on, before we move on, just very quickly.
Oh, what?
Yeah, on that England squad, who are your 2 starting centre backs?
Oh.
Harry Maguire, obviously,
Ooh.
just because. Well, you're telling me you're going to start Michael Keane and Tyrone Mings, or Joe Gomez and Michael Keane?
No. I do really like Joe Gomez. I'm not sure how much he's played so far. I think Matip's played a bit more than him.
Yeah.
So far this season. That's, for me, is the weakest area of the national team.
Yeah.
And that's probably why Tyrone Mings is getting called up, because he's searching for options.
Well, yeah, true.
It'd probably be Maguire and Gomez, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it will be, because you look at those centre backs, and you think, oh, we must be missing someone, and the only name that comes to mind is Stones, and you're like,
yeah,
that doesn't even really make us that much stronger at centre back. It's not like we're missing a Rio or a John Terry or something. But yeah, I was just interested because he has 4 centre backs and none of them are what you'd call top quality.
World beaters.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, Josh. Yeah, moving on.
Well, talking of top quality centre backs, Virgil van Dijk, UEFA Player of the Year. Is that justified, Dave?
Yeah, I think he has shown what a difference a defender can make. It's very tough because obviously Liverpool signed Alisson at a similar time, and the talk was that Alisson was not having as much of an impact as Van Dijk, when I would suggest they're probably both having a similar impact. But Van Dijk has clearly made a difference to that team. He's clearly a very imperious centre-back. Against Ronaldo and Messi, it's really hard to compare them, isn't it? To say who's the better player, because they do completely different things. You're not too sold on it, are you? I assume from that.
No, I don't think there's anything more he could have done as a centre back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the criticism always goes to attacking players. Well, I think that there's stuff that attacking players do which just cannot be compared to, really. Like with Messi single-handedly winning matches, and maybe people go, "Oh, Van Dijk single-handedly saves Liverpool from losing matches," but I just think it's a completely different kettle of fish. I think there's a reason why it typically goes to 10 players, because it is such more special talent for me. But I mean, as far as players goes, Van Dijk is just phenomenal. He is a fantastic player, but I just feel like the pressure's building on being a bit contrary with these awards and trying to give it to a defensive player when possible. So
yeah, I'm trying to think of the last time,
especially with the amount that Messi and Ronaldo have won. So
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we can dish it out. They're not going to be too upset, although looking at Ronaldo's face, he was pretty upset.
Yeah, well, they're both on 5 Ballon d'Ors. I know this isn't the Ballon d'Or, but they're both on 5, aren't they?
Yes.
So it wouldn't surprise me if they never ever give it to one of them again, because then it's sort of
keep that
because
it's
it's
the greatest.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you give it to one other, then the argument will always be, well, they won more Ballon d'Ors, sort of thing. So it wouldn't surprise me if if one of them never won the Ballon d'Or again. But I just think who's the other? Is the only other defender winning a world major football award I can remember is Cannavaro, wasn't it? When Italy won the World Cup.
Cannavaro winning it, yeah.
Yeah, and you compare Cannavaro was. And maybe not a technical as Van Dijk or a better centre-back than Van Dijk. It's hard to say, but when he won Ballon d'Or, I think he won the World Cup with Italy. I think he won the league in Serie A. If I remember, it was at Madrid, wasn't he? He won the La Liga with Madrid.
They moved after, I think. Yeah.
Did he move after?
Yeah.
I mean, he had a very good season for win stuff, and Van Dijk, you can argue, has done that with the Champions League. But like you say, it's very hard to put.
All but the Premier League as well. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I mean, a couple of defenders. I mean, I think Beckenbauer has got some awards. I think
Yeah, I'm sort of talking our generation.
Rude. Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Lothar Matthäus, but that's the kind of the difference. It is. It's taken that long for other defenders to be recognised.
Yeah, very true. So,
the Europa League Player of the Year was very debatable. This was given to, who do you reckon it was given to?
well, I know the answer because you told me just before we started recording.
Oh.
So,
Eden Hazard was awarded it.
have you got his stats? Have you got his match stats? Yeah.
I've got a couple of stats. He played in 33% of their games and scored 1 goal.
And he got the best player of the Europa League, did he?
The best player. I think Olivier Giroud may be a little bit beat off because I think he scored something like 10, 11 goals in the Europa League last season.
That is ridiculous. That is utterly
including,
ridiculous.
I think Giroud also scored in the final. So it's not like the person who gave the award was like the night before was like, I've forgotten to allocate this award. Let's watch the final. Oh, Eden Hazard scored. I'll do it. Giroud also scored in that final. I'm pretty sure. And
big
and
name
still
bias.
Award, so I imagine he, big name bias, big club bias, awarding it to a Real Madrid player.
Yeah. So that is very interesting. I just forgot to say, you said obviously players leaving the Premier League. That well spent 40 million on Bakayoko has worked out well for Chelsea.
Yes, he's off.
He's going back to Monaco. Yeah, back to Monaco.
Yeah.
I think they've got they can sign him for like 28 million or something. So yeah, well done, Chelsea recruitment team. Yeah, not very good.
Yeah, and a few. El Neni has left Arsenal.
Oh yeah,
on loan, and also Nacho Monreal has left for a mere 450,000.
Is it just me, or did the Monreal one come out of nowhere? I hadn't heard any rumours or anything about him leaving.
He started their first three games.
Yeah. I was very surprised by it.
Albeit he's probably the placeholder for before Kieran Tierney gets fit, but still, he had been starting. I suppose there's also the Klasnach gang warfare
incident
issue that's been going on.
Yeah, very true.
That's one way of putting it,
Gang warfare is not the words I would use to describe that incident, but yeah. But anyway,
each their own.
Potato.
A couple of other things. The draws for the Champions and Europa League were made this week. We'll touch on these a bit later on, shall we, when we get to our poll talking point at the end of the pod, because we set a poll around the Champions League. We can also cover the Peasants competition at the Europa League if we even must have. Oh no, you're in it actually. Manchester United are in it. So
cheers. Yeah.
All right. That's all I have in news, unless you have any other burning desire to talk about a news item, David.
No, mate, I'm good to move, I think. So, one more thing. Sorry, one more thing.
Here we go. Breaking news.
How it's not quite breaking. Although some people might not know. How Turkey is becoming the end of the career path for strikers. Have you seen who's in discussion with Galatasaray at the moment?
Oh, I don't know. We've already got such greats as Adebayor out there, and obviously Soldado just maybe is he filling the Soldado void and going to Fenerbahce? Where's he going?
Galatasaray, Radamel Falcao.
Galatasaray.
Yeah.
Radamel Falcao. Oh.
I mean, what a drop! What a drop in his career.
Well, it's that knee, isn't it? That knee's done him right in.
Never been as good with that. I mean, Galatasaray have been making some moves in the window this year. Falcao, looking to bring him in. They've already got Steven Nzonzi on loan from Roma, Jean-Michael Seri on loan from Fulham, and Ryan Babel from Fulham as well. So
Ryan Babel, I mean, obviously reigniting. He's obviously been there before, done it.
Yeah.
Left for a brief stint of scoring quite a good goal scoring record for Fulham, didn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
And he's gone back to what he knows. Yeah.
And now we'll be getting a strike partner in Radamel Falcao, apparently. So, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting. And obviously Daniel Sturridge has just moved to Turkey, hasn't he? As well.
Yes, he has, yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, who will be top scorer in Turkey this year? Will it be a name we know, or will it be one of the native Turkish forwards?
Will it be a name we know, or someone we don't know, is what you were going to say there? Pretty much, yeah.
That's the poll. Next week's poll sorted. Will the top scorer in Superliga be a name we know? Yes or no? Who knows? Lots of no's.
Excellent. Right. Let's move on.
Can you tell this is scripted?
Yeah.
Right. Let's just do some vocal warm-ups. La 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 la. Right. Ready?
Yes.
It's the quiz. Ooh la 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. It's quizzing time.
Brilliant.
You sit live a little bit at the end.
Yeah. I was having a little dance. I love it now.
Oh, I bet everybody is, really.
I hope so. Listening on the tube on the way home, having a little jig to the quiz.
Yeah, where do people listen to this?
That's a great question.
Yeah, where are you listening? I'm currently listening in a closet.
You keep getting on about... The more you go on about this closet, I'm going to post that photo that you sent me at one time. You keep getting on about
censor it, because you'll be able to tell which one's the sexy one.
Hey! Right then.
Right, David. I have a quiz for you.
Excellent.
And it's about goal-scoring goalkeepers.
Oh.
In the Premier League, 5 goalkeepers have scored a Premier League goal. Can you name them? Extra points awarded for the clubs for or against, and goalkeeper against. And also, if you can describe the goal to me. I've got all the data here, Dave.
Oh, God, here we go. Bloody hell. Right, Peter Schmeichel.
Peter Schmeichel was the first man to do it. Who was he playing for?
Was it Aston Villa? Or was it United?
Yes.
It was Aston Villa, yeah.
No, it was Aston Villa. Yes.
Who was it against? Man City?
No.
I'm not going to...
Do you know what type of goal it was?
It was a scrappy corner, wasn't it? Like someone headed down a corner, it hit a defender, and he sort of just like poked it in while falling over, if I remember.
A little back post volley.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, it was against Everton.
Okay.
In 2001.
Okay.
The goalkeeper. Who do you reckon the goalkeeper would have been at that time, Dave?
2001 for Everton. Oh God. It wouldn't have been Tim Howard. No chance. It would have been long. He hadn't even signed for United then. The way you've said that, it suggests I should really know who it is. Neville Southall.
No, no. I tell you what, I'll leave these open so people can get a bit of time to calculate them in their head. So I'll leave that open. You can have a little think about that. But yeah, that is the first one, and he was also the first person to do it, first goalkeeper to score it. So he is number 1.
Okay.
You have 4 more to name.
I think Tim Howard scored a goal for Everton.
Yes, he did. Well done, Dave.
Now was that
4th player to do so?
Was that the...
Not the 4th player to score for Everton. I've done better than that.
Yeah. Was that the big goal kick that caught the wind? I don't think it was. I think that was Begovic.
No, you're right,
was that Begovic that scored the big goal kick?
Oh, yeah, both. They're similar goals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're right. Begovic has also done one, yeah.
So Begovic did it against Everton, I think.
No, it wasn't against Everton. That would be unfortunate if they had 2 goals against them.
Okay, I'll come back to who it is
who was
again.
Begovic was playing for...
Stoke.
Yes.
Stoke.
And he was the last keeper to score in the Premier League.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Who are they playing against?
Should we leave it there? You have named 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, leave it there, because I'm struggling. Yeah, I'll have a think. I've got one with a question mark.
You've got the first keeper to do it. Yeah, you got the first keeper to do it was obviously Peter Schmeichel for Aston Villa vs Everton. It was back post volley. Then there's a second one, a third one. You've named the 4th one, Tim Howard, Everton versus someone, and the 5th one, Asmir Begovic, Stoke versus someone. So have a little think about that.
Was Begovic's against Spurs?
No, it wasn't.
Has someone scored? Yeah, there is a Spurs in there somewhere. I thought there was. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yep.
All right. Right. We'll leave that there and move on to the weekend's football. So we're reviewing Saturday's matches, round 4 of the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken. And I think 8 games occurred yesterday. We had an early kick-off, a late kick-off, and some in between. Let's talk about this early kick-off, the Danny Higginbottom derby.
Yeah.
Southampton versus Manchester United, the lunchtime kick-off. Dave, I'll let you take it away. How do you feel?
I thought we actually played okay. Like we played well. Actually, we created a few chances. We're just very, very wasteful in the final third. We're relying on a moment of. I'll get to the actual game in a minute. I'm just going to get everything off my chest now that I'm coherently be able to talk this week, other than last week. I've got a bit of pent up rage from last week as well. Okay. I think we are playing reasonably well. I think some of Solskjaer's decisions are a bit strange. I think what we're relying on is a wonder hit from someone, or we're not really doing well worked goals, or a scrappy goal, or a ball through the middle with a nice through ball goal. They're all very much we're looking for a wonder strike or a really, really nice finish. And that's very concerning. Obviously, they got a man sent off in the second half as well, for playing for 20 minutes with 10 men, and we still couldn't break them down. It was very annoying. But I think in terms of the tactics of it, Pogba showed how much better he is when he's playing as a number, I don't know what you want to call it, an number 8 or something, when he's more advanced than in a defensive role. And he had a terrible first half, Paul Pogba. He was losing the ball all the time because he was trying to create stuff from far too deep. As soon as Mata went off and Pogba got pushed up higher up the pitch, his whole game changed. He played it much more simply and he controlled the ball, shielded it really well. And if he lost it, then he had people backing him up. But anyway, on to the game. I was very disappointed with the starting 11. I thought with all the opportunity Solskjaer said he's been going to give to Greenwood, he might as well chuck him in when Martial's injured. Started Pereira on the right and Mata in behind. I think Mata's really past it, doesn't fit what we want to do, but saying that, he started really, really well first half an hour, played well. There's been a lot of calls for Gomez and Chong and people like that to be given a chance. Chong has scored something like 4 goals in 2 games for the under-23s, like the last 2 games, so I was like, chuck him in, give him a go. I don't know if I'm talking for all Man United fans here, but myself, I've seen this season as a write-off already. Let's just use it to build, see what the kids can do. We're not going to get relegated. We're probably not going to get Champions League. Let's just see what happens and chuck him in, give him a chance. And that's what I was hoping from this game. After losing to Crystal Palace, I thought, let's go out there, freshen things up, give people a chance that are young and hungry, give Greenwood a chance, give Chong a chance. And he didn't. But Daniel James scores another absolute wonder goal, and it's Juan Mata's run down the outside, took the defender away, giving Daniel James the space to run into, pings it, top corner, lovely finish, keeper's got no chance. Really good, and
I've got a question about Daniel James.
Yeah.
So before the season, everybody was like, he's raw, he's this, that, and the other, and then he's come in and he's actually done pretty well so far. I mean, he's equalled Alexis Sanchez's goal scoring record so far.
Yeah.
What player do you think where do you think he can get to in terms of he'll be a player equivalent to so and so? Like he could be a £80 million player. He could do Gareth Bale and be so. Or he'll just be a good player. He'll get to an actually young level. Where do you think he'll get to?
It's really tough to say.
Actually young as a winger, that is.
Yeah. You mean Daniel James will be playing fullback at the age of 29? I mean, it's really hard to say because obviously I had never really seen him. I remember him in the game against Swansea v Man City, where you just saw this raw pace, and I honestly didn't think he was going to be our starting winger for this season. I don't think Solskjaer thought he was going to be our starting winger, but he's impressed. He's done really well. I don't know. He could very easily be another Gareth Bale. He could be the world at his feet. He could be the big fish in a small pond for the national team, whilst also progressing at a team that has incredible youth facilities to get the best out of him, incredible amount of coaches. Like, for all that's wrong with Man United on the pitch at the moment, their backroom setup is incredible with all the training academies and stuff and training equipment and things like that. So he could, and it does look like he's got unbelievable potential, but I think he looks like he's one of those players. He's one bad hamstring, calf, leg injury away from him becoming very mediocre, worse than Ashley Young as a winger, because he relies so much on his pace. I mean, this day and age, you'd like to think that it's those sorts of career ruining injuries or career changing injuries are far and fewer between. But you know, one bad tackle away to a team in bloody Kazakhstan in the Europa League, if he's playing, that could be it. And definitely, it's tough. It's really tough.
It does bring that player down a notch when something like that happens. We mentioned Radmel Falcao earlier on. He was a world beater, best striker in the world at a point. Now he's on his way to Turkey, and obviously age just plays a part in that. But it would knock him down. And again, that's my concern with him as well. That when someone's so physically reliant, is that that physical ability can tail off.
Daniel James strikes me much more of Gareth, comparing the two people that is easiest to compare him to is Gareth Bale and Ryan Giggs. At the moment, he's much more like Gareth Bale because his actual his crossing ability is nowhere near the level of Ryan Giggs, but he's also a much better finisher than Ryan Giggs was. Like comparing it to with rose tinted glasses on, but I think he has a long way to go to be as good as Gareth Bale got. I'm trying to be controlled. I'm not going to say he's definitely going to be the next Gareth Bale, but obviously comparing their ages, I don't know. Gareth Bale was still a left back at 21, wasn't he?
Yes, he would have
been. Yeah. So it's very hard to compare. But in the back of my mind, I think his final third thinking is very good. His completion of crosses is not very good, Daniel James, and he's even in the Southampton game there were a few chances he really snatched at them. He played one of the most obscure 1-2s of Wan-Bissaka I've ever seen, where a cross came in and he went for a right-footed volley, sliced it so much it went back to Wan-Bissaka, which was incredible. And then one at the back post where he tried to bring it down with his left foot, and you just think if you had that killer instinct, that's a diving header, or you at least try and finish it rather than bring it down. But I don't know. To answer your question, he could be Gareth Bale, but it scares me because he's one of those players, sort of like Michael Owen. As soon as Michael Owen got one really bad knee injury or hamstring injury, you're worried for him, and that's my worry with Daniel James. But at the moment, looks like a really solid investment.
To add my perspective, I think he will not get to Gareth Bale's level, but I think he stays fit. He could be a very good player for United for years to come, but I don't think he'll reach that top level.
Yeah,
but, we'll move back to the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, so he got you off 1-0, and everything seems to be going okay.
Yeah, it looks okay. I mean, Southampton created some good chances. They did. They did cut us through a little bit. We still look quite defensively shaky at times. Lindelof and Maguire looked like they had learnt from the Crystal Palace game and were a bit closer together when long balls went in. But Did Southampton? I assume you've seen the game or maybe even watched it.
Yeah.
Do you think Southampton deserved the equaliser? They were pressuring us more, but it didn't feel like they were really troubling De Gea.
Not particularly. No. No, I don't think they fully deserve it, but it was just lack of concentration letting it happen. Vestergaard, the tallest outfield player in the Premier League, I think.
Yeah.
Am I right saying? And your players being switched on from that cross coming in, some players were just kind of sauntering out and.
The most annoying thing about it is that when we lined up to defend that corner, Maguire is marking Vestergaard, and then it's cleared, and for some reason, Maguire and Lindelof change around, and I don't know why you would do that. I honestly don't know why if your man's still up there from a corner, he's your man. That's who you're marking, and that infuriated me. But as soon as it went in and it was Lindelof v Vestergaard, I can't blame Lindelof. Vestergaard is a giant, like you just said, the tallest outfield player in the Premier League. He should win that header, and it's a great header to put it towards the side netting. So, and once it went in, they got the man sent off Danso for what was the most ludicrous challenge when you're already on a yellow card. I'm not too sure what he was thinking, if he forgot he was on a yellow or he thought he had to do that tackle. Very bizarre, but definite second yellow and a red card. And from that point you sort of thought, we could get one here, we could nick it, and we kept the ball really well, we moved Southampton around really well, but it's just that final thing. I mean, Greenwood came on and hit a really good left-footed shot, fired across really, like there was 2 or 3 crosses that went low and fizzed across the goal, and Rashford didn't look sharp to get on the end of it. Never a penalty. So the one for Greenwood, never a penalty. Yeah. Greenwood did get there first, and the guys kicked the bottom of his foot, but it's never a penalty. Not enough contact.
So we've obviously Lukaku's out, and only kind of Rashford remains with Martial as well. But Lukaku, do you feel that I'm going to be saying this a lot? You could have done with Lukaku in a situation like this to get you a scrappy goal. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think you'll be right to say that a lot as well, because Lukaku, for all his faults, he scored more goals than Rashford and Martial, and he scored those scrappy goals, and he was there to put those goals in, and he was waning with what we wanted him to do and how good he could have been with Lukaku. But we don't have a scrappy goal scorer, and that's our problem. We don't have a fox in the box. It's all Rashford wants to go out wide and drop deep and move around, and I think I would like to see Greenwood given a chance up front in his favoured position as a striker, and just be like, go and see what happens. And I think that'll happen in the Europa League. But yeah, all in all, It's really annoying. 1 point from Crystal Palace and Southampton is absolutely dreadful. But
yeah, and overall, I mean, you've not won an away game since PSG match. In your last 15 matches, you've got a -3 goal difference, and that obviously includes a 4-0 winning at Chelsea. So I think there's something underlying which is a little bit concerning.
yeah, there is. Yeah,
But
definitely. And it's
now have
it's
an international break for you to kind of consolidate and see what happens.
Yeah, but on the flip side, Man United haven't lost a game, they haven't lost an away game they've scored first in for a ridiculous amount of time. I can't remember what the stat is. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on.
Yep,
Move on to the next match. We have the John Harley derby. Do you remember John Harley?
Left back, wasn't he?
Smiley face. Yeah, left back. Pretty average player. But yeah, this is Chelsea versus Sheffield United, and
it all looks so good.
Chelsea continue to play this lovely attacking football, but they also leave themselves far too open. They need to shift that sliding scale and redress that balance, because you cannot take a 2-goal lead against Sheffield United, a newly promoted side, and then get pegged back to 2-2. That is an absolute shocker from Lampard's Chelsea there.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really, really bad. My main question from this game, and I'll ask it to you, is what is your opinion on Kurt Zouma?
We mentioned knee injuries, and I feel that he was a beast before it. Went on loan to Stoke, was it?
Yeah.
And Everton to recover from it. And I don't think he is the player he once was. And he'll be the player to swap out as soon as Rudiger's fit again. I mean,
okay.
Rudiger's had a bad injury, so maybe he won't be. But yeah, he's been a weak link in that Chelsea side. So
yeah, and it really saddens me because, but like you, he was a beast when you first saw him on the scene, and I was hoping he'd be that sort of player again.
So reliant on his physical ability, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, highlights from this game. Dean Henderson made a massive error, not being able to hold on to a ball, or not punching it and taking everyone out.
Yeah, he kind of complained that a player was near him when that happened. But no, in highlights, I mean, Abraham scoring again. But before Chelsea fans get away with themselves, he scored goals against Championship sides who've been promoted this year. His goals have come against. So it's good to see him scoring, but he needs to carry his form into the games against the better sides. But it's good to see him getting some goals.
Yeah, very true. I'll agree with that.
I'd also comment at single players looking past it. Azpilicueta looks lost at right back. I think that right centre back role in the back three is suiting him down to the ground. He now looks like he is running through treacle, and I wonder now if Chelsea are looking to replace him as soon as Reece James comes back fit. Obviously, one of the players of the year in the Championship right back for Wigan last year. I think he may slot in, because obviously Frank's not been shy to put the youngsters in. Even did ill-advised in this match. He brought on the 18-year-old Gilmore, I think it was, for his debut.
Brought him on over Alonso, wasn't it? He picked him, I think, to come on.
Yeah, in hindsight, you probably should be making, doing debuts in matches you aren't quite comfortably up in. Not that it's going to be on his head, on Gilmore, that they didn't see that win out, but it's kind of like you want to blood youngsters in, unless you haven't got a choice in games where it's a bit more comfortable. They can just get a run out and get some confidence rather than be in the team when they lose their lead to a new promoted side. But as I said, it's business as usual for Chelsea, and which isn't a good business. And I feel like the stamina's not quite there yet. They seem to have tailed off. They seem to be all at it first half. Obviously scored 2 goals in the first half here, and they seem to just tail off a little bit. And wonder if that's just getting used to Frank Lampard's system, or
they seem to be like the annoying kids or teammates that you played with at school or in younger sport, where when you're going forward and attacking, you got all the energy in the world, but as soon as the ball turns around, you got to come back. It's like you say, Azpilicueta running through treacle. Going forward, he still put a good couple of crosses in. He still looked like he had the energy, but as soon as it was turn round and sprint back, their whole squad just didn't really seem to worry about it. So yeah, it was very, very strange. But poor old Kurt Zouma, 89th minute own goal.
Yeah, not great. But no, not been the greatest start for Chelsea so far. But we'll see how it progresses, because if this continues the way it has done since 10, 12 games, I think the pressure will be on Frank Lampard.
Yeah, but getting spanked 4-0 in the first game of the season, they find themselves on the same points as Man United. So
Yes, yeah, how turntables. Right, we'll move on to the Gabor Karai derby. Remember Gabor Karai? Do you want to tell me everyone's fact about Gabor Karai, or
He wore
everybody's
he wore
memory about
pajamas.
him?
He wore pajamas in goal.
He wore those grey tracksuit bottoms, didn't he?
I think he's still playing. Hang
Palace
on.
v Villa, yeah.
I'm going to Google this
Check 'em.
because I think he's still playing. Gabor Karai. I swear I found him on
He's got to be
Football
old.
Manager.
He's got to be like 40 plus.
Football Manager. No, maybe it was an old one I'm trying to think of. Yeah, he retired this year. Playing for his hometown team, Haladas, in Hungary. There you go. Age 43.
Wow, and that is 43. Well,
Yeah. Anyway,
that
back
is
to the
pretty
game.
impressive. Still wearing his tracksuit bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to the game. And you know what? Palace are going quietly about. You tipped them for relegation, obviously dependent on a Zaha move. And it looked like Zaha may have moved, or at least he wasn't going to turn up. His head had been turned. But Palace are doing all right. They ended last year doing quite well. They've been going all right so far, and they obviously won this match 1-0. And yeah, I mean Jordan Ayew looked like a changed man. Scored against United last week, and
Yeah, where's that come from?
Quite easily. Yeah, beat quite easily Tyrone Mings, England's newest centre back. Beat a bit too easily there. But yeah, Palace looking okay, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean they're looking.
Not scoring many goals, but they're scoring
That's
enough goals.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah, they're scoring enough goals, and you think, okay, Aston Villa would have been a game they highlighted to get points out of, maybe a draw, maybe a win. Man United, 3 bonus points. They probably didn't think they'd get anything out of it, but it's a good start to the season, and it's really fucking up my predictions of them to go down and Hodgson to be out of a job first. But yeah,
Yeah, I think Watford and Javi Gracia may ruin that one. Did you see the instant where Villa thought they'd scored?
oh, ridiculous. I mean, 1, it's a foul on Jack Grealish, and it's not a yellow card for booking.
Yes, correct.
And 2, he scored.
Yep.
So why is I just, it's rubbish, absolute rubbish. Isn't that the sort of thing he's meant to let play on VR would bring it back if it's?
He should have.
but
Well, no, he shouldn't have let play on. Thing is, like, it wasn't even a dive. Like, Jack Grealish went down, fouled, but even if he went down, he wasn't looking for a dive. He got straight back up, and
Yeah.
I think he only went to his knees and his hands. He wasn't like there flailing around appealing. It was shocking, and because he blew for it, it couldn't then be reviewed by VAR. Although this is my issue with VAR. I feel like there's behind the scenes kind of conscious decisions made to not overturn referees, because so far, please, obviously fans of your different clubs, if you've seen something I haven't seen, let me know. But I feel like VAR has only been used for so far the goal checks and the clear decisions, not the ones which are clear and obvious errors from referees. I don't feel like they're getting overturned at all. I feel like because the referees, the VAR referee and the on-field referee, they're colleagues, they work together. I feel like there's a kind of unwritten rule going, look, let's just clear and obvious, leaves that grey area going, oh, there wasn't enough evidence. Like the bit
I mean,
last week with Mike Dean, he said that he didn't see Harry Kane foul, Jamal Lascelles dives across him, Kane goes down. Kane says that Mike Dean says he didn't see that, and so he couldn't give a penalty. And then VAR says they're not overturning. It's like, why isn't there a conversation between Mike Dean and VAR going, VAR, I haven't seen that, can you tell me it's penalty? They're like, overturn it. There's an incident yesterday, we'll go on to it in the West Ham match. It's a clear penalty, but they don't overturn it. Yeah.
How is that not?
They're not doing it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
They're not doing it because they don't want to overturn the on-field and undermine the referee. I'm really starting to think that, because all they're doing are the checks after the goal, and then you get your instance, your offsides or your attacking players' handballs, and therefore it's not anyone's fault. It's just clear cut. But the grey area of clear and obvious, they're just hiding beneath that blanket. Really, really winding me up now.
Yeah, it is. I totally agree with you. It's winding me up as well. It's winding me up, and I haven't even had a decision against my team. So, God knows what it's going to be like when United have a decision against them with VAR. But it's just very annoying. But well done, sorry, Crystal Palace. Trezeguet, again, 2 yellow cards. Stupid. What's he doing?
Was about as silly as
the
Southampton player,
Danzo. Yeah,
Danzo. That's it. Yeah.
What's he thinking? What's he thinking?
Honestly,
what goes through?
Like, just let him go. He's on the byline. Just let him go. Do not. You've stuck a leg out and properly brought him down. It's not like there's any dive from Zaha there. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I did notice yesterday, right, in the Manchester United match, and as English fans, we've always been against this, but Harry Maguire was calling. I saw him wave his hand
for a
out to
booking.
give a player a card, and I'm like, that's very like against what we as English people do. We don't seem to like that, and I wondered what your thoughts were on
Now,
that.
I don't like it. I don't like him showing the gesture, which I'm doing right now, which obviously no one can see, where you like indicating you want to get a booking. In my mind, I think what he's saying is, if that's not a foul, it's a dive, so you should be booking him. Because I say that at football all the time. I don't ask for him to be booked. I'm just saying, if you're not giving a foul against me, and he's fallen to the floor like that, that's a dive. So, is it a booking?
We often see that. We see that in matches because it's often players who probably don't speak English are having to communicate with referees, so they use that quickly to gesture a yellow card. Whereas I imagine a number of players who can speak the same language as the referee will ask for it, but obviously we can't harangue them for it because we can't.
Yeah,
they may not be able to lip read what they're saying, but I'm sure it goes on.
mean,
Just because they don't do the visible gesture, that we don't get annoyed with it.
I was going to say, Harry Maguire did look like he was confused and asking a question when he did that symbol, but Harry Maguire generally always looks confused, like he's asking a question, no matter what the sentence is. So,
I saw a lovely comment during the week. Harry Maguire runs like a man with a
towel wrapped around him. Yeah, I saw that. That was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. He did on that moment, and then passed it straight to a Crystal Palace player as well, just to top off the video.
Did,
yeah, unbelievable stuff.
All right, we'll move on to the Max Gradle derby, Leicester versus Bournemouth.
Yeah, okay. Jamie Vardy's having a party.
Oh my goodness, it's pretty nice. I mean, there's a couple of nice goals in there. So obviously, this was 3-1 Leicester.
It was,
if it serves me correctly.
Yeah.
And opening goal, I've got to question the goalkeeper's positioning. Ramsdale here is well out of his goal, and doesn't do anything to to offset that. Just stays there. It's like he crouched down a bit. Like I think he's thinking, all right,
he knew.
I'm here.
Yeah, he knew as soon as he got to he got to the edge of his box and he went, shit. I'll just watch this one over me and hopefully it's going to hit the bar. No, it's gone in the back of the net. So,
to be fair, even if he'd run back into his goal, that is a sublime finish.
Vardy, he loves a little lob, doesn't he? He loves a little lob like that position.
He does.
He's done it a few times.
He's got such good shot technique. It's crazy. He's honestly, he's a phenomenon. Vardy is an absolute phenomenon. I can't believe I mean, how many people thought after that season where Leicester won the league and he scored those goals in so many 12 games, 13 games in a row?
Yeah.
They thought, he's continued to do it. It's goals in season after season. It's a statue, that guy.
Do you reckon he would have scored as consistently if his move to Arsenal had gone through? Do you reckon he would have been a goal scorer for Arsenal?
I think he'd have scored, but I don't think. I think he made at the time. I think I criticised it. I'm thinking, what are you doing? But in hindsight, he actually made the right decision.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's a bit tumultuous at Arsenal. I think he'd have scored a lot of goals. Whether it would have been in and outside, I mean, different managers, different systems. I think he's just so adored by the Leicester faithful, and obviously Leicester can't go and buy an Aubameyang or a Lacazette, and so in a bit to replace him, he is that main man because goal scorers are so hard to come by. So he keeps his place on the side. Absolutely
phenomenal performance from him, wasn't it? 2 goals and an assist. I think he got as well. I think he assisted Tielemans' goal.
Yeah, he assisted Tielemans.
Now
I also really liked.
Go on.
I liked Bournemouth's goal as well, actually.
Yeah, it was
lovely. The movement off the ball, the finish was absolutely delightful. That was equally as not equally as good, but very different goals. But both showed some very lovely technique there.
Yeah, it was a very nice finish. It was a very nice finish.
Strikers.
Yeah, well, Vardy's not anymore, is he? So
retired.
Retired.
Strikers then. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was very nice. Was there a big... I'm trying to remember because I didn't watch this game, and I don't think it was in the highlights I watched. Was there a big hoo-ha about Tielemans? Should have got sent off? Or something? Yeah. No, I can't... I swear I heard it. I'm just quickly reading up on the BBC. Tielemans, though, looked fortunate to stay on the pitch and might not have had the chance to grab his goal after a nasty-looking over-the-top challenge onto the ankle of Callum Wilson. Despite a VAR check, Tielemans did not even receive a yellow card. Someone not overruling it again.
Oh, who'd have thought it?
But yeah, there you go. Yeah, again, Leicester are one of those teams doing well, up in third, early doors, but up in third and getting good results. Seems to be settled nicely into Brendan Rodgers' play and tactics, and yeah, appear to be doing very well. So
yeah, we'll see how. And I think it's Manchester United versus Leicester after international breaks. That's an interesting match, isn't it?
brilliant.
Yeah, you look forward to it.
No, I'm not looking forward to it. Well, yes, because
Right.
it's football, but I'm not looking forward to the game. Wow.
Right, we'll move on. We'll
Yeah.
move on to the. Well, I'm going to mispronounce his name. Sorry, listeners, but the Guy Asulin derby. Remember this guy?
Guy Asulin, yeah, I remember him. Signed from Barcelona.
Yeah, but I think he was Israeli, a little attacking
Yeah.
midfielder. Must have great
Asulin.
technique, but
Asulin,
never.
I think it was. Yeah, Guy Asulin. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, this is City v Brighton, 4-0 win for City. But this guy, yeah, never really, I don't think he ever really appeared for City, but had a little loan stint at Brighton. But this game was over after the second minute, wasn't it? It was
58 seconds, I
only
think
really
it was.
Gonna go well.
Yeah.
It was 58 seconds.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Oh.
really going to go any other way before the match. But I think it's fair to Brighton. I mean, it sounds funny to say, but they did okay. They played really well from the back, and we mentioned Tyrone Mings, and there's a couple of players I forgot to mention at the time, like Connor Cody for Wolves and Lewis Dunk for Brighton. I mean, is there that much a gulf between those three players that Mings is one to deserve a call up?
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. Not really. No, not really. I think Connor Cody's the most surprising one. He probably deserves a chance, but yeah. But this
So
game.
yeah, I mean, business as
buried.
usual.
Yeah.
Business as usual for City. I mean, Aguero, Silva, De Bruyne. Mahrez actually had a good game. Lovely little back heel for the Aguero goal. I think the first Aguero goal. I think it was. That was very, very nice. Couple of issues with this game though. Still no Phil Foden getting some game time. It's
Well, it's surprising for the best player Pep Guardiola's ever seen. So
yeah, absolutely. It's like maybe just saving him for the big matches. Thought this is beneath him.
yeah, I
And
don't understand
the
it.
other interesting point would be see how Aymeric Laporte's injury is able to go off, and that would be a big loss for them if he is a long-term injury. So I have to see how that develops. Obviously, if it's a 1-2 weeker, obviously the majority of the international break, because he doesn't get called up for France. Amazingly, he doesn't. Although one of the top 5 most expensive centre backs and a starting centre back for the best club side in Europe, my opinion, he doesn't get called up to a French side.
Yeah.
They are absolutely overwhelmed with quality centre backs. It's quite disgusting.
Yeah, I mean,
But, yeah, 4-0 City. Done.
Did you think the losing Laporte affect them, or do you think they just slot in Fernandinho or John Stones or whoever's back from injury, or one of the
John Stones
youngsters?
is to come back. John Stones, Otamendi, and then you've obviously got, I think, Rodri and maybe Fernandinho. I don't think it's not an issue at this stage of the season because they can cope. If it was like nearing the tail end of a Champions League knockout matches or some real big matches against like Liverpool or something, it'll be a worry. But I think there's enough chance for him to recover from injury to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But,
I mean, we're
if they
talking
get
about
results, you never know.
we're talking about Jamie Vardy as like his finishing ability. Is Sergio Aguero the best finisher you've seen in football? As a natural goal scorer?
He is just phenomenal, isn't he?
He's redonkulous.
Because he does both, doesn't he? He gets the tap-ins and also gets the
lovely curlers.
yeah. And for me, he's the best striker in the Premier League. He obviously plays for Man City where he gets more chances, but I feel like he's just technically gifted, strong on the ball, quick. He's better than Harry Kane for me. But they do both of them get a variety of goals, and he's just so good. It's just absurd.
Do you think he's as appreciated as he should be now, or do you think it'll be once he's finished? Everyone will be like, "Oh my god, he was amazing."
Yeah, and yeah, I think that will be the case because he doesn't. Like Thierry Henry, for example, scored phenomenal goals, didn't he? He ran the length of the pitch type scoring goals, and Alan Shearer was just propping up a side, wasn't he? He was just the main talisman of the side. Aguero is a guy scoring 20 plus goals a season. Isn't the main man in the side. Isn't the main man for his national side. Doesn't score kind of off your seat type goals. He kind of like obviously got finishes, but not the overall goal. And I just think it's just so consistent it becomes the norm. And I just think he's not gonna he's nowhere near appreciated as much as he should be.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, cool. Let us know what you think about Sergio Aguero in the comments, people, because I think he's wildly underappreciated at the current time for what he does.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the relegation 6-pointer and probably one of the greatest nicknames in football. This derby is the Fitzhall Derby. Do you remember Fitzhall's nickname, Dave?
No.
His nickname was One Size. One
Oh,
Size
God.
Fitzhall.
Unbelievable. Wasn't he a centre-back, Fitzhall?
He was a centre-back, pretty bang average.
Yes.
But Newcastle versus Watford, a real relegation 6-pointer, and
funnily enough, in a game everyone predicted would be a draw, it finished a draw. Was it in Super 6 and did you predict it as a draw?
I did get it bang on.
Oh, I had 0-0. I thought neither of them would even score, so
no, and I mean, barring a miracle, Watford are soon going to have probably 1 point from 7 games as they continue forward. We've spoken about Javi Gracia and how we think he may be out. It's just a matter of time, we think, because obviously they've got Arsenal, Man City, Wolves are their next 3 matches. Do they twist? Is it tomorrow morning we'll see the news, or do they give it a little bit of time? So
they'll give him time now. They'll give him time, I think. I think if they had lost this game, like we said, I think he would have been gone, but he didn't lose it. It's a point away at up in Newcastle at Soccer Direct, St James's Park, whatever it's called nowadays. They looked better. Watford, they seem to have changed their style ever so slightly, but it's not looking good.
Well,
and with the games
the
they've got
problem
coming,
I have is that he shifted it. Javi Gracia shifted it round, and that's a sign of a man who's panicking a bit.
Yeah.
The front 3 was different, and it's kind of like, you're really, really searching here. People do that in times of need, don't they? Search out. A formula.
Yeah, he changed from a flat back 4 that he's played pretty much all the time to a 3 at the back and took off Deulofeu. And if that doesn't say we just want to get a point on the board, then I don't know what does. It's very tough to see where they go, because if you do that again, the problem with doing that against teams like Arsenal and Man City is that if you go 3 at the back and have Deulofeu on the bench and then they score early on, I know, because obviously Watford got the first goal in this one, but if Arsenal and Man City score early on, you have to change your whole tactical approach to get back into it, and that's not easy, is it, when you're a footballer? Because you'll be set up to play a certain way. That's what all your training's been towards. And I think, I think they'll stick with him, and I think it won't be long. It's harsh, isn't it? If you lose to Arsenal, Man City, and then they sack him, it's sort of like, well,
it's a culmination, though, isn't it?
People
look at it and go and say that's harsh, but it's a culmination. And I'm thinking next about the next manager. I doubt we'll know the next manager. I bet it'll be an obscure choice again. So we'll wait and see that one. But quick word on Newcastle, in particular Miguel Almiron.
Yeah.
Is he Premier League quality? I'm beginning to think that he is not, and it was a bit of a pull your pants down signing him for 30 million. I think it was a record signing.
Yeah,
it seems like he really misses that final pass. He's
sort of gone the other way, hasn't he? Like, normally you say these sort of players get better in their second season, and I know what you mean. I think he has glimpses of quality, but it's just, it's a lot of money for someone that hasn't. I think they signed him from the MLS, didn't they? They signed him from the MLS.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. It's a lot of money for someone that wasn't really tested in the best league, in one of the best of the leagues in the world. And I don't know. I hope he comes good, but because I quite like the look of him as a classic sort of South American, lots of energy, lots of little fight around him, and some good touches on the ball. But he did look out. He looked rusty, weirdly. Even though he's played, I think, all 4 games for them this season, he looked rusty against Watford. But it's a shame. It's a lot of money, and I want Newcastle to. Wow, do I want Newcastle to do well? I like Newcastle as a club. I just obviously don't like Mike Ashley, like most people. So, yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We'll move on then to the. I had to call it this one because both fans of these sides called out this player as being the greatest striker that never really was.
Dean Ashton.
This is the Dean Ashton derby.
Yes.
West Ham versus Norwich, and it was a bit of a tough one to call this one. We were in our Super Six. I was like, oh, I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, because Norwich obviously started the season pretty well, and West Ham were kind of building up a bit of form, really doing a bit better, and we ended quite comfortably in the end, 2-0 to West Ham, and yeah, West Ham are starting to click. West Ham do have some classy players. I mean, I think Felipe Anderson's probably the pick of the bunch. He really is a top draw player, but obviously Yarmolenko has his moments of class, showed it in this match with a lovely volley. Sebastian Haller.
Well pronounced, Josh. Well pronounced.
Thank you. He's a player who's not gonna do what you criticised Jesse Lingard of. He's not gonna be taking pot shots all around. He shoots when he feels like he can score. He's gonna get him those goals in the penalty box, and and that's exactly what we're doing. And that can be the difference between it can get you like 10, 15 points a season doing that. And
I think
I'm starting to be impressed.
I like the look of West Ham this year. Obviously, one of our friends, Owen, who's on the podcast a fair bit, is a big West Ham fan, and obviously he'll be very happy with how it's going. The thing that strikes me of West Ham is that how they've become grown up, I guess is a word, with their transfer dealings. You know, David Gold and Sullivan don't do it anymore. They don't give it to their sons. They don't do all of this. They've got in a good director of football, and he's taken control of what is saying. It seems like Pellegrini saying, this is the positions we need to fill. Go and here are some options or something. Go and take care of it, because they needed a striker. They went out and got Haller. A lot of money, but it seems to be worth it at the moment, paying the risk. Like you say, they've got good players in Anderson, and it all seems to be buying into one ethos, which is incredibly useful at a football club. And I think, I don't know, maybe I'm seeing it differently. And
it helps when you've got a very good manager in place that they feel the board feel they can trust and to that. But my concern would be this is their first clean sheet in the Premier League this season. They've obviously conceded 5 on the opening day, conceded against Brighton, conceded against Watford. This is their first clean sheet, and that's for me the worry. They've conceded, albeit a lot of them to Man City, a lot of goals so far. They need to tighten that up, because it's a difficult job when you're having to outscore people and if you're not keeping clean sheets. So if they can tighten that up, then they can be a real force to be reckoned with. But no, it's all good so far for them. I think West Ham fans will be quite happy so far this season.
Yeah, definitely.
I would also mention probably the people late to the Teemu Pukki bandwagon will be a little bit upset because obviously he didn't score this week.
Yeah, so all those people that
have in a fantasy
anyone that's put him in his fantasy team is a little bit annoyed, probably.
Yes. Right. Unless we have anything else to mention on the Dean Ashton derby. Just a quick note on Dean Ashton. I mean, do you have fond memories? Do you feel like he had a higher ceiling? Do you reckon he could have been an England centre forward for?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. He scored the best goal I've ever seen live at a stadium. Dean Ashton. West Ham.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not thought about that as a
at Old Trafford. Ooh. At Old Trafford, right in front of me, he scored an overhead kick from about 10 yards, 12 yards out. Lovely finish, top corner. Great overhead kick.
Okay. Off the top of my head, best goals in live. The Danny Rose volley against Arsenal in his debut.
Oh yeah, lovely goal.
Probably up there. And then there was also an Obafemi Martins goal for Newcastle versus Spurs, where he just got it, shifted it, and absolutely bluted it in from about 30 yards in the top corner. I was like, oh man. And that continued. That was the start of a trend where Newcastle have Spurs' number, and they're not enjoyable matches to watch when we play Newcastle. But we'll move on now. We'll move on to the John Flanagan derby, Burnley versus Liverpool. The late kickoff, and I mean, Liverpool win this 3-0, but I don't think it was a 3-0 win. I think that flattered Liverpool a little bit, I'd say.
Oh, Burnley had some good chances, didn't they? They had Ashley Barnes, I think, hit the outside of the post. Chris Wood had a header that went just over. It was interesting. It was a very interesting game. But that's the problem when you're playing teams like Liverpool, Man City, isn't it? If you don't take your chances, they punish you. They really punish you.
Yeah.
So
Obviously, we have Trent Alexander-Arnold getting a well. It's a very funny interview. You need to check out that after the match, the interviewer breaks the news to Jurgen Klopp that Trent Alexander-Arnold's goal is an own goal, and beforehand Klopp is all laughing and joking. He gets told it, and he literally goes deadpan silent. He's like, "What?" And I don't think Jurgen Klopp realised it took a deflection of Chris Wood's back and looped in.
Yeah.
He was like, "How is that possible?" But yeah, I mean that was really unfortunate. But other than that, I mean, quite good goals really. Obviously, I mean you could see the Mane goal. As soon as that pass was misplaced, it's like lovely weighted ball through to him. It's like you knew exactly what Mane was going to do, and Mane does what Mane does, and slots it in, and then Firmino grabs the other. They're just very good, very good side.
They're very ruthless going forward. They're very ruthless. Yeah. That's the word I'd use to describe them, and they are playing very. I mean, Sadio Mane had a little confrontation about being subbed off. When he came off,
Sadio was Madio.
Hey, well done. Which is a bit strange. You don't normally see that too often, but
I think that was born through frustration of playing with Salah. It seemed like there's a couple of chances that Salah could have played him through, and I imagine we've all played with that kid at school who you obviously know is great, but they could be a true great if they had better decision making. I know Salah got a lot more assists than Mane last season, but I think that Salah could also do with just passing it a little bit more.
I think, but
that
Mane did that today.
An even bigger level.
Mane did that in this game though. Mane had a number of chances where he could have squared it to Salah or put Salah in and didn't and took a shot on. It was very interesting dynamic. So it's
all is not well at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Seek late deadline day move.
Yeah, top of the league without losing a game, but all is not well at Liverpool.
Yeah,
but yeah, very good.
If there weren't so many ex-Liverpool pros in the media, that might be the case, but there are tons of them.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just
so
it's really
we're mainly
annoying.
4 games in now, Dave. We have Watford who can worry. We got Liverpool who can cheer. Man City who can almost cheer. Surprising to see after Norwich's good run so far. It seemed like they had a good start to the season. They find themselves in a 19th position.
Yeah, it's strange that it feels like they've played a lot better than 19th.
Obviously, it's very narrow. I mean, but early. But it will be a little bit disheartening because they obviously don't want to ever see themselves in that position. But it might be a little bit disheartening to actually see that. I mean, at the moment, but they hopefully know they can.
Other end of the table, you know, Sheffield United. They're the team everyone said would struggle coming up. They said they have the worst time of it.
Propping up the bottom.
Yeah.
But also Palace and Leicester are doing well, and West Ham as well. So yeah, it's showing a bit of hope. And obviously, we've got 2 games this afternoon. We have Everton v Wolves and Arsenal versus Tottenham.
Go on then, Josh. Thoughts on Arsenal Tottenham?
We haven't performed too well away at Arsenal. I think the last time we won away at Arsenal in the league, I think Rafael van der Vaart scored. It's not been a happy ground for us, and we are struggling so far this season. Haven't really fired no cylinders, and also we have a little bit of injury problems because we have no right back. Juan Foyt is injured. I think
Walker Peters.
Serge Aurier is still injured. Walker Peters is injured. I mean, other injuries. We've got Ryan Sessegnon and Tanguy and Ndombele are both injured. I think we never seem to go into these big matches with like our peak, and I doubt. I imagine a lot of other sides think it as well. You're very rarely at your peak in the season with all players fit and in form, but it's really interesting to see who we line out right back with, because it's going to be a key position. Could it be Eric Dyer at right back? Could it be Moussa Sissoko? I'm really not sure.
Okay.
I am worried.
Moussa Sissoko at right back against what? Lacazette cutting in from the left wing.
Anyone?
Anyone? Yeah.
Keep your arms down.
Yeah. But okay, fair enough. But yeah, if you've got any thoughts on the weekend fixtures, then please let us know down below. Always good to know what you guys are thinking, and girls that listen. It'll be very interesting to get your thoughts. But Josh, what is up next? We've already overrun, I think, on time. But let's keep this train going.
Oh my goodness!
This is what happens when I'm not hungover and I can put sentences together. I lose track of how long I talk for. So
you can talk, yeah. Right. You know what's next, Dave?
I got a wiki file. Here comes a wiki file. I got a wiki file for you. Hey. Okay, so Josh has sent me a wiki file, and we have.
And if
Oh
yeah,
my
and
god!
if you're not familiar with this, if you're a new listener, I send Dave an extract from someone's Wikipedia page, a footballer's Wikipedia page, showing their career progression for the years they played, for the clubs they played for, and their appearances and goals. And from that, Dave has to ascertain which player it is. And there's certain rules. They must have played at least, is it 31 games in Premier League, the Lorik Kana rule?
That is correct.
And they also must have played post Euro '96, the Paul Rideout rule. So Dave, tell me what you see.
I see a little silhouette of a man who started in Milan. Well, that rhymes.
Scaramouche.
Yeah. 0 appearances, 0 goals. He then got a loan to Como, which is a lovely place in Italy.
It's a lake.
It is, yeah. 6 appearances, 0 goals. Then he moved to Prato.
Oh, not scoring many, is he?
No, you're a Prato. 30 appearances, 0 goals. Then big move. Lazio. Played once, 0 goals. Castel di Sangro, 14 appearances, 0 goals. And then he gets Chelsea in the Premier League, 99-2000. 1 appearance, 0 goals. And he then moves permanently to Chelsea and is there for 9 years. 141 appearances, 0 goals. Then he gets a move to Spurs, 09-12. 19 appearances, 0 goals. And then 2012, 2014, LA Galaxy, 21 appearances, 0 goals. I'm going bold. I'm going to say a goalkeeper.
Yeah. Otherwise, a failed striker.
Yeah. Oh man. So and then I'm thinking, Chelsea's. He had what 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years as Chelsea's starting goalkeeper, and then Spurs must have taken him on as a backup with 19 games in 3 years. Oh man, okay. Clearly an Italian as well. I'm going to put my neck on the line there and say he's Italian.
Do you want his international stats?
Cudicini?
Carlo Cudicini.
Yeah. I was like, desperately trying to think of people that had moved from Chelsea to Spurs and goalkeepers, and I was like, I can't really remember Cudicini at Spurs. I definitely don't remember him at LA Galaxy.
I think it bridged our when we were in the Champions League as well. Do you remember that time at Chelsea? I think it was before Czech, where he was just like absolutely on it. And in his international stats, he never made a full international appearance, and he's obviously hard done by the fact that he comes at a time where it would have been Toldo to begin with, and then Buffon, and it's one of those ones where you are born in the wrong era, because he was a fantastic keeper for a while, wasn't he?
He was very, I remember him at Chelsea being very good, like you say, the season before Czech joined, I think, or sometime like that, and he was very good. I always thought he was given a bad rap. I always thought Chelsea were always looking to upgrade him. But yeah, it's a very good goalkeeper.
Very much for second fiddle, wasn't he?
Yeah. So what drew you to Cudicini for the wiki files this week?
What drew me to Cudicini? I was looking at. I wanted to link it to goalkeepers, because we're obviously speaking. The quiz was this week about goalkeepers, and I was looking through. I was like, Carlo Cudicini. I think he's now on the coaching staff at Chelsea. Actually, I think he's the technical loan management coach or something like that. So I don't know quite what he does, but it involves loan players. So he's very busy at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a loan link I was going for there. A goalkeeper link. Sorry, I was going for there.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Yeah, good. I got it as well, which is good. I'm happy with that. Always good when you get the wiki file. So, always good. So,
right.
Yeah, what's next?
What's next? We'll move on to a quick chat around the European competitions and the draws that were made this week. So we obviously had the Champions League draw and the Europa League draw. So Champions League highlight, the English clubs. So we had Man City were drawn in a group with Shakhtar, Dinamo Zagreb, and Atalanta. Liverpool were drawn with Napoli, Salzburg, and Genk. Not getting very difficult so far, is it? Spurs with Bayern Munich, Olympiacos, and Red Star Belgrade, and Chelsea with Ajax, Valencia, and Lille. And so we asked the question, who had the toughest group, and it seems like Tottenham, people most thought it was Tottenham, but 40% of the vote, it was Tottenham, 8% of Man City, 28% Chelsea, and 24% Liverpool. But Spurs, obviously because they have Bayern Munich in their group, but Bayern Munich are somewhat of a shadow of their former selves, but we also then have Olympiacos and Red Star Belgrade, so it's not exactly I mean, last year, for example, we had PSV, Inter, and Barcelona. That was a tough group.
Yeah,
This is
it's
very much manageable.
this is a year that you think there is no way all those English teams aren't getting through. Like they have to get through with those groups. It's
Although I do worry about Chelsea.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think Chelsea will get.
I think Valencia are a good side. I think Ajax obviously Ajax have sold a few of their best players, but yeah, and the way that Chelsea have performed, whether it's obviously Frank Lampard's first foray into managing in Europe, and I think Poch struggled a little bit when taking us into Europe, so I don't think they're going to be a force in the Champions League. I think I could easily see them dropping into the Europa League with some naive away performances, especially if they play younger players who again might be making their debuts in the competition. So yeah, I'd say that Chelsea would be my most concerning side there.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not really concerned. I think I still stick with that. I think all the English teams will go through and it'll be pretty comfortable, I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then we obviously have the Europa League. We have, well, the side I'm concerned with here. Well, I'll cover Scotland here as well. So we have Celtic in a group with Lazio, Rennes, and Cluj. We have Arsenal with Frankfurt, Stade Liège, and Victoria. We have Rangers with Feyenoord, Young Boys, and Porto. United with Astana, Partizan, and AZ Alkmaar. And is that it? I think.
Yeah, that's it. I think. Yeah.
Oh no, we have Wolves, don't we? Wolves with Braga, Besiktas, and Bratislava, Slovan Bratislava. Yeah, the Scottish sides I'm concerned about here. I mean, that Rangers group could easily be a average Champions League group, isn't it? Porto, Feyenoord, Young Boys. I mean, Young Boys maybe not, but Porto and Feyenoord, they are going to dish out a spanking, I'd have thought. Porto especially.
Yeah, you'd think Porto are going to absolutely annihilate that group. Is what you'd assume, but you do never know. You never know. Obviously, if Rangers win all their home games, it is a difficult place to go, isn't it? With the atmosphere, and Celtic as well. Like both grounds, obviously difficult places to go. But Celtic, I think Celtic will get through. I think they'll beat Rennes and they'll beat Cluj. And then Rangers, probably Porto and Feyenoord to go through.
English sides of formality. I mean, also Arsenal were finalists last year. Frankfurt have sold off their front line, a different proposition this year. United, I mean, just a bit of travelling to do, isn't there? Serbia and Kazakhstan.
Yeah, the thing with United is I would have said we'll beat Crystal Palace at home, but we'll win all three of those games at home. So yeah, I'm confident we'll get through. I don't know how seriously Ole's going to take it. We don't have squad depth to allow us to really rotate too much, so I think this will be where the kids play. Like our first game, I can't remember who our first fixture's against in the Europa League, but it wouldn't surprise me if our front three will be Greenwood through the middle, Gomez on the right, and Chong on the left, or of something of that degree, and Mata in behind. But yeah, I have to wait and see it. All right. We've won the Europa League. Not too fussed about it now.
Tick that off.
Tick that one off. Done.
All right.
But yeah, it's interesting. I just wish.
Are you going to be watching? I know you are setting out to watch all Man United games this season. Does that include Europe? Because I imagine they're at awkward times for you.
They are at very awkward times, and my plan is to watch them. My plan is to watch every single Man United game I can this year, but maybe not an away trip to Kazakhstan. I'm not too sure yet. So.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right then. All right. Thank you for that. We'll then move back to the quiz. To tie off Dave's quiz question posed for him, which I asked him, name the 5 goalkeepers to have scored in the Premier League. The first one that Dave named was also the first one to score, was Peter Schmeichel for Villa against Everton, back post volley. 2 and 3 remain outstanding, but Dave has named Tim Howard for Everton against to be confirmed, and Asmir Begovic for Stoke versus to be confirmed. So how have you filled out this your quiz answer sheet, Dave?
So I have one that I'm pretty sure I'm correct with, and so I'll go with him first, and that is Paul Robinson for Spurs.
Paul, yes, correct.
Yeah, okay. I've got two then with a question mark. One's of an older generation, and one is currently still playing. So Ben Foster is the other one I've got. But
you realise you only had to name 2 more, Dave. So Ben Foster was scored against.
That's why I remember
by Paul Robinson. He conceded. So it was Tottenham versus Watford in March 2007. Ben Foster was left embarrassed after Robinson's kick out looped over his head.
Okay, so the other name I've got for the final remaining one is Brad Friedel.
Correct. Brad Friedel is the missing.
It was a corner rather than a long goal kick.
Yes, so I will fill in the blanks for you now. So, first goal was Peter Schmeichel for Everton against Aston Villa. For Aston Villa against Everton, sorry. October 2001, it was against Paul Gerrard, was the opposing goalkeeper.
Oh, okay.
And this was in the penalty box, so it was a back post volley. Similar from Brad Friedel. He was playing for Blackburn in February 2004 versus Charlton. And guess for a Charlton keeper here?
Bald guy, Paul Jones. No, he was Southampton.
No, this is Dean Kiley.
Dean Kiley, that's who I was thinking.
Dean Kiley, yes. This was swept home after a cross from a failed corner. So both those goals were in the penalty area. The remaining 3 goals are all very similar. The long kick out, embarrassing a goalkeeper. So we have Paul Robinson, as we mentioned. You've got this fully. So this was Tottenham against Watford, March 2007. Ben Foster in goal, loops over his head. Tim Howard, Everton against Bolton in January 2012. This is Adam Bogdan gets embarrassed here. And then the final one, Asmir Begovic, back 6 years ago, November 13, Stoke versus Southampton with Artur Boruc in goal. Again, looped over his head. So we've only had 5, and it's been 6 years since it happened. Probably due one. We'll get one this season, I imagine. Edison probably just like roofing one top corner from his penalty box because he's absolutely ridiculous.
Hasn't he got I think Edison, doesn't he hold the record for longest goal kick out of his hands in the world, I think.
Yes, and fun fact here, Asmir Begovic's goal is the longest range goal ever to be scored.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Goals. I mean, there's not many things more exciting on a pitch when a goalkeeper comes up for a corner. It's pretty exciting, isn't it?
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I'd say what I would love to have seen is been in a stadium where Shilave first came up to take a free kick as a goalkeeper. I would have loved to have been in that stadium to see him do it for the first time and score, obviously. But
that would have been, you'd been like, what is
going on here? Oh my god, he's put it top corner. That's what you'd have been doing. So, but yeah.
Absolutely. Right, that brings a close to another week of Football Talk podcast. Unless you have any other business, AOB, Davey, anything else?
No, I guess it's worth. I say no and then go into a sentence. Then yes. Classic meeting tactic. That no, I don't have anything to say. But we've got a special episode coming up, haven't we, Josh?
We do.
It's in the planning, so
it's in the plan, and it's hopefully going to come to fruition. So we are planning the weekend of the 27th of September. Obviously, Mr. Culture Left Foot here is planning to be back in the UK, aren't you? You're going to be back in sunny England, and so we mentioned a few months back that we would like to do something of a mastermind podcast. So we are planning currently to do a live YouTube video of a mastermind special. So Dave, myself, maybe Owen as well, who's featured on the podcast, will be posed questions mastermind style, sat in a black chair on our specialist subjects. We'll each have a specialist subject, and then a subsequent round of the general knowledge round to compete in our mastermind special, which will be then streamed live, and then obviously they're available for you to watch at a later date. But that is currently in the planning. Are you excited, Dave?
I'm very excited by it. I am very, very excited by it.
I'm yet to see your specialist subject that you've pumped out.
Yeah, I'm holding back because the only reason I'm holding back is because it's very similar to yours, and I didn't know if that would be a bit boring if we both had something quite similar for our respective clubs. But I'll put it in the chat later and see what the feedback is. So
no, I think that's right. So do you want to? I'll announce. So my thought at the moment for my specialist subject will be Tottenham Hotspur transfers from 2000 to present. So this will be things like I imagine transfer fees, clubs. Players that clubs have come from, transferred to, and things like that. So that's where my kind of real expert knowledge comes from with my football. And I suppose yours wouldn't be Tottenham. You'd find and replace Tottenham for Manchester United in that question, would you?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. 2000. I think 2000 to present is a good enough chance to really test deep down. What I'm interested...
20 years of transfers, that's not exactly niche, is it?
Yeah. I was going to say, I brought this up because I'm very interested to know, those listeners that have got to this point in the podcast, who do you think will win the mastermind quiz of special subject and general knowledge, the scores combined? Myself, Josh, or Owen, who has hosted the podcast a couple of times with Josh and myself. So let us know in the comments below who do you think is going to win, because it's not far away. We are in the final planning element, just trying to get timings and stuff all sorted, and I'm very, very excited by it.
Yeah, can't wait. And obviously you'll be able to find that on our YouTube channel, Football Talk. We give that a search, and obviously there's all our back catalogue of all our previous episodes on there. Obviously drop us comments, we like to respond to those, and if you have questions we try and build them into the following week's podcast. If not on there, you can obviously find us on SoundCloud and Spotify if you just want to listen to the audio, if you want to be on the go. Spotify is obviously a very good medium to do that, and you can also find us on Twitter at Football Talk. But remember,
there's no A in football.
No A in football, that's gone. We've abolished the A in football. But yeah, just follow us on Twitter. Again, we retweet and share some of our football thoughts throughout the week. We send out polls for inclusion on the next week's podcast, so it's always good to get your view in there. But yeah, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, and we'll be interacting with you in the near future. But until then, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.